So are millions of retirees at risk of becoming homeless? Well, there was a recent article in Harvard University's Joint Center for Housing Studies that says that the United States is ill prepared to adequately house and care for the growing number of old people in this country. Over the next decade, the U.S. population over the age of 75 will increase by 45%. That's growing from 17 million to nearly 25 million boomers really moving over the age of 75.
Yeah, and many of those people, because they're living longer and didn't plan, we've had some things in the economy, they're expected to struggle financially, which is actually pretty sad. In 2021, nearly 11.2 million older adults were cost burdened, which means that they spend more than 30% of their income just on housing. So you would think that at that age they would have their homes paid for, but it's a significant portion of their monthly budget for these folks, and it's growing every day.
Well, it is, and you factor in inflation and those costs going up. Really, I would say to those listening, insufficient savings today cannot be an option. Really making sure that you're putting yourself in the best financial position now, knowing that as you get older, things do cost more. Housing is going to cost more. Insurance is going to cost more. And so if you're approaching retirement, you do still have options. I think this is why it's so important that the 5 pillars that we talk about, John, are looked at and reviewed on a regular basis, that you're working with a financial planning firm that's going to help you address all of these. One of those is having stable and reliable income, right, through all market conditions, and that's been inflation tested. So having an income plan there. Investment management, we need our investments to grow. We have to be cautious with risk, but there's no doubt that we're going to need our money out there working hard for us to help cover a lot of these increased expenses, housing, things like that. A big one is tax efficiencies. We talk about it all the time. How can I maximize each dollar through tax efficient savings? There's a lot of very great, easy to understand, totally above board strategic tax saving strategies out there for folks. I think everybody needs to be looking into tax savings as a big proponent of our retirement, and then saving on fees and things like that. All of these really build up to put yourself in a position that a lot of these increased costs as they come your way, that you're ready for those.
Yeah, and those are things, of course, Dan, that we do when we give folks a second opinion, is we actually run reports on these, like taxes. What's your tax burden today, and what can it be over your lifetime if you don't do anything? You can actually see that and then see some avenues to keep more of that money in your pocket. So you can't eliminate taxes, but you can certainly reduce them. And we're talking about the expense of housing on this generation. Something that's not talked a lot about is the expense of taxes, because taxes is a debt. It's a debt that you owe the federal government. It's like a bill. And people's tax burden is significant in retirement, much more than what they believe. So, you can call us. We'd love to give you a second opinion on your portfolio. Our number is 615-488-3039, or you can go to beaconcm.com. But Dan, let's get back to this Harvard report that says that mortgage debt among older adults is rising. Median mortgage debt for homeowners. Now, this is really surprising. Median mortgage debt for homeowners 65 to 79 is shooting up over 400%, from $21,000 in 1989 to $110,000 in 2022, as people increasingly need to access cash for what's really just basic needs and for their care.
Well, and I think that number's going to increase, the amount of mortgage that people are carrying because of the current increased cost of housing. So I don't think this is going to improve anytime soon. So again, it's something that we have to be prepared for. So what can you do? Well, one of those things that we can do is to try to be disciplined enough to pay off the mortgage, become debt-free, be homeowners, and own our home outright in those retirement years. Anticipate that property taxes are going to go up. Again, making sure that your income plan is inflation tested, right? That we're counting on that. It's not an if that's going to happen. it is going to happen. The cost of maintaining our houses are going to go up. Potentially, you could downsize your home in retirement. We do see that a lot. You know, it's interesting. I would say maybe it's 50-50, John, where people either increase the size of their home when they retire because they do want to have a place for their family to come and visit, and then there's a significant amount where they'll downsize their home and just plan on going to visiting their kids and things of that nature. So, of course, the best thing that you can do, as we mentioned, is just plan ahead. There are a lot of unknowns out there. There's a lot of risks out there. That's why it's important that you have a plan to be able to prepare yourself proactively for all these things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, thanks for watching Retirement Talk. Subscribe below and for a lot of helpful information that's on our channel.